All right. So S is the amount that she saved last month. So let's do $24 plus 3 times what she saved last month. So remember we said S was saved last month. And the bicycle cost $129. So it said this is 24 more than 3 times what she saved last month. And we're just going to solve for S, just like we've done before. I want to keep this 3S on this side of my balanced equation, so I'm going to take care of this 24. So I have positive 24, we're going to do to both sides. What am I? Subtract 24 from both sides.
You get 105.
Get 105, and left with 3S on this side. Now, I'm going to move up here so I have some space. So 3S equals 105. What do I do now? Divide both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm left with S equals 35. $105 divided by 3 is 35. All right, we got to check our work though, okay? So I'm just going to do it over here to the side. So I had 24. And we said 3S, so S is 35 equals 129. Let's see if it works. So 24 plus 105 equals 129. 24 plus 105 is 129, so 129 equals 129. So our answer is correct. So if this would have been a quiz, you know that you got it right. All right, so the next one, he sold half his comic books and then bought 8 more. He now has 13. How many did he begin with? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to name our variable. So I'm going to say C equals the number of comic books in the beginning. Okay, so C is my number of comic books. So it said Keith sold half his comic books and then bought 8 more. He now has 13. So how can I show half of what he had originally?
You could do 0.5 or I put it in fraction.
Put it in the fraction. So how about this? Comic books divided by 2. That's half, right? Then how many did he buy? How many did he buy? 8 more for a total of
Equals
13. Make sense? Okay. Now we're just going to solve for C. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I want to keep this C over 2. Okay? So I'm going to take care of this 8. What am I going to do to both sides?
Subtract 8.
Subtract 8 from both sides.
You get 5.
So C over 2 equals 5. I'm just going to move over here so I have some space. Alright, so remember when we talked about C over 2 is division, right? So we're going to do its inverse operation, which would be, so what are we going to do to both sides? Multiply by 2. Good job. Okay, so now we have 2 divided by 2. We're left with C. And 5 times 2 is 10. And we're going to check our work, right? Yep. Alright, so we're going to rewrite over here. So we said C is 10. So we're going to do 10 divided by 2 plus 8 equals 13. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Plus 8 equals 13. 5 plus 8 is 13. 13 does equal 13. So now we have a perfect score if this was a quiz. All right, go to the right. All right, William had $45 to spend on vegetables. Okay? After buying 6 watermelons, he had $25.50 left. How much did each watermelon cost? So I'm going to use W equals the cost of the watermelon. All right, let's think about how we can make this equation. How many watermelon did you buy?
6.
6. So we're going to do 6. Do we know the cost of the watermelon?
Nope.
Nope, so I'm going to just put W next to it. We bought 6 watermelon, don't know the cost, so 6W, okay? Plus, how much did he have left?
25, 50, 25,
And how much did he have to spend completely?
45.
45. Okay? Then we're just going to solve. So I'm going to keep this 6W over here, so I got to take care of this 25.50. What am I going to do? This is 25.50.
Subtracted by 40 from 25.
So 25.50 minus 25.50 gives me 0, so I'm left with 6W on this side. And on this side, I'm left with $19.50. Now I'm going to do what to both sides? What am I going to do? Divide by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1, so I'm left with W equals, so 1950 divided by 6.
650.
We're trying to find out what each watermelon costs. Not 350. $19.50 divided by 6. $3.25. Alright, so we need to make sure our answer is correct. So I'm going to go put 325 in for W here. So 6 times 325 plus 25.50 equals 45. Alright, 6 times 325 is 1950 plus 25.50. Does that equal 45? Yes, 45 equals 45. So once again, we have a perfect paper so far if this was a quiz. All right, the sum of 3 consecutive numbers. Okay, this might be something new for you. So first of all, we know what an odd number is. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, okay? But consecutive, what does consecutive mean?
Constant.
What?
Constant.
Consecutive. Not even.
I heard it before.
What is it, Braylon? Okay, one like consecutive. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're consecutive, okay? So if I say 3 consecutive odd numbers, it would be like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or 13, 15, 17, wherever it starts. Consecutive, okay? The next one, okay? All right, so it says the sum, so we know we're adding, okay, odd numbers is 165. What is the largest of these numbers? Okay, so we know what the equals is, we just don't know how to get there. Okay, so this is what you do. We're going to say x is a number, but x is going to be my smallest number. Or my first number. You need to know how to do this, so pencil should be writing along with me. Let's go. So if I have x is 1, how do I get to the next odd number, which would be 3? I got to get from x to 3. How do I get there?
Times by 3. Like, plus.
Remember it's sum, so we know we're adding, right? So if I have x plus something is going to get me to 3. X plus 2, good. So x plus 2 is going to get me to my middle number, or my second consecutive number. So just pretend that I'm trying to get, so I'm at 1, I got x plus 2 got me to 3. How am I going to get from x to 5? Because that would be my next consecutive odd.
Plus 3.
That would give me 4. 4 is the even number.
X plus 4.
X plus 4. That would be the largest number. So we're saying x is just 1. X plus 2 would get me to the next consecutive odd number if we were doing this, if 1 was my first number, but it's not probably going to be my first number. And then x plus 4 is going to get me to 5, which would be my third consecutive odd number. Okay? So how we get there, now all we do is just add these up. So we have x plus 2 plus x plus 4, and my total is 165. So before we do anything with solving this equation, we have to do what with all those x's?
Add them together.
Yep.
No distributive property?
No, we'll just add them together. So how many x's do I have?
3. 3x plus 6x.
Not
I
6x.
mean, No, plus 6.
Plus 6 equals 165. And I'm going to move them up here just so I have some room. And we're just going to solve like we normally do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and keep 3x on the left. I'm going to take care of this 6. So I'm going to do what to both sides?
Subtract 6.
So here I'm left with 3x equals what? 159. Okay. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So x equals what? You guys can do this. It's simple division. You got a piece of paper, do it. Or you can do it to the side. I don't want anybody blurting out. Raise your hand. What does x equal?
1.
How can 159 divided by 3 equal 1?
50.
Not 50. 159 divided by 3. Do them. Yes, Chris. Good, perfect. What did I say? Raise the hand. We're not blurting out today. I'm saying we're raising hands. We're not blurting out. I don't see a hand, I'm not calling. All right, so we found out what x equals. Okay? But that's not what it asked us. It said, what is the largest of these 3 numbers? And remember here, I said largest. So 53 is x. What is my largest number?
165.
What's my largest number? I gave you all the tools. I said x, so we said x is 53, but I want the largest number. That's here. So we're going to say x, which is 53 plus, so that would give me what as my largest number? 57. I guarantee it, if this was on a test, like at the end of the year, one of the options is going to be what? 53. They're hoping that you're not going to do that last.
They always try to
They're going to want you not to do that last one.
be lazy.
right. The width of a rectangle is a third the length of the rectangle. All right. The perimeter of the rectangle is 32. Find the area of the rectangle. All right, this is a lot of information. So what we're going to do first is we're going to just draw our rectangle. Okay, and here's our length, right? We don't know what the length is, but they told us the width of the rectangle is 1/3 the length. So how could I show that for here and here? What 1/3 the length would be 1/3 L, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now perimeter is what? Adding up all the sides, right? So we're going to go ahead and add up all the sides. So we have 1/3 L plus 1/3 L plus L plus L equals, my perimeter is 32. So we're just going to combine like terms. So I've got 1 whole L, 1 whole L, so that's 2L. And 1/3 and 1/3 is 2/3, so it's got 2 and 2/3 L. 2 and 2/3 L equals 32. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this like any other equation. I'm going to divide both sides by 2 and 2/3. Because I say 2 and 2/3 divided by 2 and 2/3 gives me 1. So I'm left with L. And 32 divided by 2 and 2/3 gives me what? What does L equal? $12. All right, so now I'm going to go plop this back in because now my length is 12, right? Okay, because I didn't answer the question. What is the question? Find the area, right? All right, so 12, over here 12, because we know L is 12. But this is 1/3 L, so 1/3 of 12.
4.
1/3 of L is 4, right? So what's the area? Remember the area formula is let length times width or base times height gives me, what is it? 4 times 12 is what? 48. So my area is 48.
We have a perfect paper still.
Mm-hmm.
Last one.
So if this were to be the case on the end of grade test, you know what they're going to give you as one of your options. They're going to give you 12, and they want you to stop. Because they said, oh, they found the perimeter. They're not going to answer what I want, which is the area. So one of the answers is going to be 12. Guarantee it. Okay? All right, this one is relevant to where our plans are for this week. It says 238 students went on a trip to the zoo. All 4 buses were filled and 6 students had to travel in cars. How many students were in each bus? So let's do S equals number of students. And we know our equal already. How many students went on it?
250.
Okay, so I know my equals. How many buses?
4.
4. Do we know how many students were on that bus? No. So 4S. How many students rode?
Plus 6.
6. Good. So 4S, 4 buses. We don't know the number of students on each bus, plus the 6 that didn't ride the bus, for a total of 238. So we're just going to go ahead and solve for S. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So I come up with 232 on that side, 4S on this side. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. How many students were on each bus? You can go ahead and do it on the side real quick. Just do some simple 1 digit into 3 digit. Don't blurt it out. What does S equal? 58. Alright, so let's check our answer to make sure we have a perfect paper. 4 buses with 58 students on each bus. Plus 6. 238.
Y'all gotta take down my buses.
4 times 58 is 232. Plus 6 equals 238. 238 equals 238. So we know we're correct.
How much buses do y'all gotta take?